This video covers the notes portion of assignment 17.1. So unit 17 is our first of two EOC review units. So what we're going to do in these assignments is work some things together at the top or the front couple pages. And then where it says try these on your own is where you're going to work them. So make sure you're with me because we're going to go through some problems, but not all of them. And then you're going to use what we've reviewed to work through the rest. So up at the top for 17.1, we have reviewed all of the exponent rules. So we have a rule and then we're going to work an example. So the first rule is if you see two letters that have the same base but are separated, you're actually going to add them. So when you see multiplication, there's just enough room for an addition sign. So for our example, remember big numbers don't have rules. So big numbers are normal. So -2 times 7. We just put it into our calculator and get -14. Then we have a to the 2 times a to the 3. There's just enough room for addition, so that would be a to the 5. And then b times b, we have just enough room for addition. Now remember, these are ninja ones. They don't show it, but they're there, so that would be b to the 2. And then I just put my answer all back together, -14, a to the 5, b to the 2. So that is if you see multiplication and there's enough room to squeeze in a plus sign, that's what you're going to do. The next rule is the power rule. So if you see them right on top of each other, they're piggybacking, you're going to multiply them. Now again, big numbers are normal, so this is a -2 squared. And then for our m's, we have m to the 5 squared times m to the 3. So big numbers first. Big numbers go in the calculator. So -2 gets a little 2. Notice that's what I have. A big number -2 with a little 2. And that equals out to a 4. For my m's, I'm going to multiply these because they are right on top of each other. But then with the m to the 3, there's just enough room for addition, so we're going to add them. So we end up with 4m to the 13. For the next rule, when we see division, it's really a long subtraction sign. So we take the top and we subtract the bottom. So for our example, this one is an old rule. This one, they are right on top of each other, so we multiply them. And then I see division, so I really subtract. So 4 minus 3 gives me a +1. Now, you don't have to write the 1. You could just write the letter Y. If you don't write the letter Y, it's wrong, but you could just write the 1. Our next rule is if you see a negative, it does not like where it's at, so we push it to make it happy. If it's negative on the bottom, you push it up to the top. If it's negative on the top, you push it to the bottom. Wherever it is negative, it is mad, it is unhappy, so we have to move it to make it happy. So for this example, we have -5x to the -2. Remember, big numbers are normal, so -5, no problem. We only care about the exponent, and the exponent is only on the x. So the x is going to push down to the bottom, and when we move it, it now becomes happy. So we have a -5 on top. Big numbers, big numbers are normal. So that one will not move. The x to the -2 does not like being on the top, so we push it to the bottom. And then our last rule, remember anything to the 0 equals 1. You can always confirm that on your calculator. 7 to the 0 is 1. 5 to the 0 is 1. So if that ever happens, just plug in a number and see what happens. So for our example, up at the top, they're right on top of each other, so we multiply. And then we see division, so we subtract, and we get 0. So this whole problem equals 1. Now for the rest of this video, if you'll flip, let me start in order. These say try these on your own. So the next 6 problems are for you to do with the remaining class after we work the back. On the back, we're going to work through these, and remind ourselves of don't call me after midnight, okay? So D is for distribute. If you have a number in front of a parentheses, you need to distribute it. So this left side I'm not touching. I'm going to keep it the same. On the right side, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4. Next, we combine like terms. So on this left side, I have 2 sets of numbers. So I'm going to do exactly what it says. It says 15 minus 9. So I'm going to replace that with 6. And I'm cleaning up this problem. The first M is for move the variables to the same side. So I have a 3x and a 2x. They are on opposite sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to move them to be on the same side. It doesn't really matter which one you move. I always move the smaller one. And remember, when you move it, it doesn't matter which one you move, but it does matter that you move it correctly. So when you switch sides, you switch signs. So on the right side, it's going to cancel. And on the left side, we have 3 minus 2 for a positive 1. And you don't have to put that plus sign there if it confuses you. Next, we add or subtract the numbers. So we would move the negative 6 to the other side, and x equals negative 2. The last M is for multiply or divide. There is no number in front of x. It's a ninja 1, so we don't need to do that step for this problem. So x equals negative 2 is my answer. So again, you try. Go in order of do not call me after midnight, or don't call me after midnight. And if that step isn't there, like the last step on the top, just skip it. So you have 9 problems here. Notice at the bottom there's an answer bank, so you should get all of these answers somewhere throughout the work that you're doing on these problems. And then on the other side, there are 6 problems. So you have 6 and 9 problems, 15 problems for the rest of class. So make sure you're using those skills.